In this video, I'm going to show you how you can edit a YouTube video with Descript. Descript is a brilliant video editing tool and it's super simple. I'm going to walk you through it, but I'll give you a very clear description of what I'm doing after each step. So I know there's plenty of Descript tutorials out there, but this is a 10-minute tutorial which should get you started really quickly. Okay, so let's just jump over to the screen share then. The first thing you're going to want to do is create a new project. So in the top right hand side, there's a new project. This is the Descript version that's available on the 9th of August 2025. So it might have changed slightly. They often update things. I'm just going to drag my my video file into Descript. You can go and search it by clicking here, but I'm just going to drag it into there and drop it. And as soon as I do that, the first thing it's going to do is go and transcribe that file. So I press done. And you can see it's transcribing it. And this is going to allow me to edit that video in Descript using the transcript. This is one of the brilliant features of Descript that absolutely makes it one of the best tools available. Of course, most of the editing tools have enabled this feature now, but Descript was certainly one of the first people to do it. You can see it's transcribing. Usually it doesn't take that long. It has to upload the file first and then it has to do the transcribing. And then what you'll find is a Word text-based editing style editor on the left hand side. I'm just going to walk you through some of the simple things that you need to do there. Whilst we wait for that to happen, I just want to point out to you on the bottom you've got the timeline. This is the timeline. The thing here, the line, the blue line that you can see along the bottom there is called the Playhead. So if we press spacebar on our keyboard, the Playhead starts and it continues to do stuff. You know, it sort of travels along that timeline, so you can see where it is. Now, if I click on the transcript that's just appeared for us, I can also press the space bar and it will start to move along as well. What I'm going to do, this is the new timeline editor. So you can see I've got a preview of my footage there. I can pinch on my MacBook on the trackpad. I can pinch with my 2 fingers and it will zoom in and out of that timeline. So I can see I've got the whole 8 minutes on the timeline now. And if I pinch outwards, it will zoom in and out. There's other ways you can do that. You've got this little bit here where it says 50%, and then I can zoom in and that will zoom in and out of that timeline as well. So you can decide how much you want to zoom in. I can see there right at the start, I've created a thumbnail on my timeline. So I'm going to take a screenshot of that later on as well. But for now, I'm just going to delete that by selecting on that empty space. You see it says 24 seconds there, and I can just press backspace and it will delete that. So then what I'm left with should be my in this video opener. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly. There you go, perfect. So I've got the opening part without that 20 seconds. You can see there's a 10 seconds there. Often I'll go through and just get rid of these little gaps where there's space. But before we do that, I want to remove the filler words. So these are all the ums and ahs that you can see here. I'm just going to click on that filler word, right click it and press remove filler words. And what it will do is go and take a look through that video and remove any filler words that are there already. This is places where I repeat things as well. You can also enable this avoid harsh cuts. Before I had 52 filler words and now I've only got 35. So removing harsh cuts, what that does is just means that it will, if there's filler words where there's a harsh cut, it will skip past the filler word and keep it in there. You can see I've got the option of delete and replace with gap, ignore or remove from transcript. So I'm just going to remove them all by deleting them. I trust that Descript knows what it's doing and most of that is correct. And then there's a couple of other things that I want to point out here. So in order to correct the words on the timeline, what you need to do is highlight the word where there's some kind of correction to make. So let's say it was this word here. You need to highlight it and then you can use this option here that's correct. What you'll find is whenever you hover over something, right click, you'll find these little pop-out menus that come out. So if I again go over Gunner just there, then I can see the hover menu that's come out and I can press correct. So that's a simple way for me to edit this video. There's a few options more. I can extend the timeline if I want to, so I can make it a little bit bigger. This is good if you're working with multiple layers or anything like that. Layers are different parts of the video that make a clip. So if I add captions in here now, I'll just apply this caption real quick. You can see that I've now got a captions layer inside of my timeline at the bottom. So that's what a layer is, and it just means the order in which you lay things on top of each other dictates how you see them. So if you
there's no smoke and mirror.
My captions are now in my video. If I change the order of the layer, that would be that would appear or not appear, as the case may be. But there's nothing else to put in front of there. Maybe if I had like screenshots or some B-roll or something like that, adding that to the layers would help that situation. This didn't used to be in Descript. It's very new, that feature, so this is really handy. Again, what I say is I go and find all these gaps. So I find these little 10-second gaps wherever I've got them. Make sure I'm using the select tool. There we go. So there's a 10-second clap. It can be a bit fiddly. I don't know if you spotted that I was clicking around there. It can be a bit fiddly, so make sure you're on the right thing. Sometimes as well, when you select the gaps, you'll end up selecting the whole clip and it disappears. So just remember Command Z or Control Z to remove, to go back if you happen to delete the whole thing. Just get rid of these long pauses. This is how I make sure that there's no big spaces in my videos. I might take a pause because I'm thinking about something. You know, often I tell people when they're filming videos, just keep going. If you make a mistake, start and stop, and then go again. You don't need to worry about too much of that stuff. You can just edit it out later on. So I'm going to get rid of all these gaps. I can see now that I was on 8 minutes originally, and I'm on 6 minutes and 42 for this video. So I'm already making some good edits here. There might be times where I need to find a clip that I don't like, or maybe there's a couple of words that I'm saying that I want to remove, and I can just highlight them here, and I can press the backspace button on the keyboard, and it will remove that clip. So it's cut it out. It's actually cut it. You won't see it anymore because it's removed from the actual video itself. I'm just going to put that bit back in. A couple of other key things I can tell you in these 10 minutes is that we can add scenes. So at the moment, this here at the top is one scene. Now, if I get to the end of this whole section here, I can press the / on my keyboard and it will add a scene. So that's this scene. You can see there's a new scene here now. And when I selected that it shows the difference in the two scenes, right? So there's the two scenes. What this means is that I can make changes to this scene and it won't apply to the next scene in the video itself. So you can have an individual scene. Maybe you have a style for your opener, you know, your intro, then you have a different style later on. You could do that. So let's say, for example, you can see my caption there. I might change the caption style in this one. Let's say I just change the font that we use in there. So a la display, let's do that. Make them really big. Make them a bit bigger. Let's say I put them for the opener, I put them on the left-hand side here, something like that.
Video, I'm going to tell you exactly.
There you go. So there's my captions, and then when I go to the next scene, I'm back to the original caption. So that's a good way to split things up just by using these scenes. That's quite a unique thing to Descript, I think. And then there's a few other things just to pay attention to. You've got these tools on the right-hand side, so like AI tools, remove filler words we've just used already, remove shorten word gaps. That's a good one as well. So that's where you can get rid of these spaces. Studio sound means that if you enable that, it will make the sound of the video a little bit better than it originally was. So if you're using like the onboard sound like I'm using now for my video, then enabling studio sound can make it sound like a better microphone. So it's a good idea to enable that if you want to.
We just want us to remind ourselves exactly.
Then there's other AI tools as well. So I'll talk about these in different videos, but things like creating clips. So you can create short form content from these videos. You can draft titles, social posts, some YouTube descriptions, all sorts of things in these AI tools. And I absolutely recommend that you take a look at those. And then the last thing I want to mention just before we wrap this up is Underlord. Now, I've got to do a video on Underlord on its own. Underlord used to be what these AI tools were, and they've replaced it now with what is called agentic editing. This is using AI to edit your videos. Now, like I say, I can't fit this in this video, but I would absolutely make a video just about agentic editing because it's a really game-changing feature as far as I'm concerned in terms of video editing itself. But just as a starting point, I wanted to give you a chance to take a look at Descript, see some of the features that you've got here to be able to edit your video and be able and enable you to give it a go, to have a play with it. In this video, you've learned about scenes, you've learned about the timeline, the playhead, Some of the different options you've got here with their shortcuts, and you know how to navigate and zoom in and out on this timeline. I've also showed you how to add in captions. You can see the captions here, how to change the captions depending on the scene. So you've got enough here actually to be able to edit a video and create some social clips from it without much more knowledge. You don't need a whole bunch more knowledge. Of course, if we want to do some clever stuff, we probably want to move to another tool like CapCut, for example, or Adobe Premiere Pro. But actually, for a starting point, to get some of these videos edited, chopped up, get all those ums and ahs out of here, Descript, perfectly fine and good enough to get going with that stuff. By the way, I've mentioned some of those other tools that you can use to do some more advanced stuff, some extra transitions and features and call outs and all that kind of stuff. But don't for 1 second think that Descript is not a powerful tool. It's absolutely one of the best editors out there. I use this to do all my quick edits. I use this to stay consistent when it comes to my short form content. I drop my clips in there, I put in a standard template for my captions, and boom, I'm done. I've got my short form content done. So Descript is super powerful, and with that agentic editing that's coming, that's in beta, that's getting better every single time I see it. One of the best tools you can use to edit your videos in 2025 and beyond, and I'm really excited to see what they add to this tool going forward. All right, my name is Matt Hughes, King Video. See you in the next video.